Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will be telling you guys to don't ever change yourself, and I feel like that's a lot easier said than done, but hopefully this video, I guess, like inspires you to really like not change yourself for others or any situation that you're in. So let's just get right on into it. So if you feel lonely, vulnerable, naive, or you just kind of want to fill a void, you don't want to feel pain, you don't want to, go through whatever you're going through, I feel like people always kind of like venture out and they just ignore it. Like they try to fill the void, they try to find other things to like distract themselves from what's actually happening. And they're like, I'll deal with that later. Like, I'll deal with that later, which you shouldn't deal with it later. You should deal with it like as it's happening, like, or maybe like a day or two after. But like you should like deal with it, I've been in situations where my heartbreak and whatever, and I didn't want to feel that sadness, like I didn't want to feel that pain, I didn't want to feel that heartbreak, so I just kind of was just like, I'll deal with it later, because like I didn't want that situation to end. I just was like, I need a distraction. Like, I just need something to kind of, like, take me away for, like, a little bit. And then, eventually I'll come back to reality and I'll deal with it. Which was probably, like, the worst thing ever, because when you don't deal with it for so long, like, a lot of times, you just kind of bury it in yourself. And you're just kind of, like you don't speak upon it anymore. Like, you're like, okay, whatever happened, like, this, that, the other, but in actuality, like, that pain still lingers inside, like, so I've been in situations where, it's not like I didn't change myself, like, I didn't change my views, but it was more so of, like, okay, like, I'll just, I'm with it for the attention, or, I'm with it because you're like a distraction, basically, like, you're helping me not feel something, that I really feel, and I still feel it, kind of thing. And I think the question that kind of comes into play is, why change for someone that isn't changing for you? That's the whole thing. You can't be the only one that's changing yourself for a person. You can't be sitting there and changing, your views, your morals, your beliefs, your this, your that, whatever the case may be, for a person that isn't doing anything, in return for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I met a guy, let's say, no, I really did. I met a guy like a few months ago, and we hit it off, everything was cool, we started to talk and everything, and I thought it was going to be something, and he was like, I'm not looking for a relationship, like, and he just told me, he's like, I'm not looking for a relationship, I'm not, that's not what I want right now. So I was just like, okay, cool, like, it is what it is, Years ago, when I went on my first date, like, on that date, we were talking about things, and he was like, I don't ever want to get married, like, I just want a live-in girlfriend, a few puppies, and, like, a few kids and something, and I was just like, immediately, as soon as he said this, I was like, it's not gonna work, like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to change a person's mind, especially when they have their mind made up, like, you know what I'm saying, like, for me, for example, like, for me, I already have marriage and kids at the top of my list. Like, that is something I need to do, like, I want to do in life, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to have someone come into my life and be like, well, you don't need to get married. Like, we don't need to get married. Like, you don't need to get married. Like, I want to get married, okay? And that's the thing, like, you shouldn't change your way for a person. Like, if a person loves you, they're gonna love you regardless, like, you guys are gonna both want, like, the same things, and, like, maybe not the same things, but, like, you guys are gonna, like, talk about it, like, and you always have to remember, what is meant to be will always be there for you. No matter how you're feeling, no matter how lonely, vulnerable, sad, naive you're feeling, heartbroken you're feeling, you always have to remember that what is meant to be for you will always be there for you, no matter what. It doesn't matter how you're feeling, it doesn't matter your outlook, it doesn't matter this, that, the other, like, what is meant to be yours will always be yours. You're not gonna have to fight for it, you're not gonna have to change yourself, you're not gonna have to, argue and do this and fight and cry yourself to sleep and make you, feel some type of way about situations. Like, what is meant for you will bring you peace. And that's the thing, like, you should not be dealing with all this chaos when you should be dealing with peace. And I get it's hard when you want someone, but if they're not going to change And if they're like, if they want to change you, like, why would you want that in your life? Like, you know, like, I have plenty of guys, you know, tell me like, oh, well, if you do this, like, we're going to be more attached, and we're going to be more in love, and we're going to be this, and we're going to be that. And it's just like, hey, I never said I was in love with you. Okay. And if I did, well, oops. But, but that's the thing, you know, like, don't let anyone change your decision on things, even if they say like, oh, it's going to make us better, it's going to make us okay. Like, if you're not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think if a person wants to change you for the better, that's cool. Like, if you take drugs and like a person wants you to get help, that's completely different than what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about if a person's like trying to change your the way that you dress, the way that your hair is, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, the way that like basically manipulate you and like your decisions, and like, well, if we do this, like, we're gonna be, you know, relationship goals or anything like that. Like, no, like, if a person wants you, they're going to want you for who you are, not for what they want you to be, not for what they expect you to be. They're going to take you as you are because they like you for yourself, not for whoever else you're trying to be and whoever else you're trying to act like, you know? And the thing with all this comes denial. Especially when you're having like a low moment in your life and you're like, oh my gosh, like, everything's going bad, like, now I'm like really in denial. Or even when some things are good, like, people are still in denial about things, you know what I'm saying? So if you're in denial, don't ever say you're gonna try to figure this out later. Don't be like, okay, well, you know, he doesn't want marriage, but like, I'm still gonna be with him because I'm gonna change his mind. Listen, I was always, and I'm telling you guys, I was always that girl that ran after these bad guys, and I would be like, he's gonna be in a relationship with me and he's gonna change his ways, and because he's gonna fall in love with me and he's gonna see how great I am and everything. And the thing is, you can see yourself as being great, but there's a person out there that's gonna be like, you ain't that great, okay? And that's a lie, okay? And that's the thing, I was always that girl that would try to always, you know, basically like feed myself lies. I would always be like, okay, well, he does this for a reason, like, that's him, like, that's because of his past, that's because, you know, his parents, that's because of how he was raised, I was making way too many excuses for people, okay? And I never really had the chance to like see the truth for myself until obviously, you know, everything happened and whatnot. And that's the thing, when you're in denial, you get stuck in this place of like, it's happening and like you should believe it, but you can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, wow, like, I never expected this to happen. Like, I never thought, you know, he was gonna do me like that. I never thought she was gonna do me like that. And that's the thing. That's why you should never change yourself for a person, because when a person changes you, you are no longer you. You are that person and like who they want you to be, you know? And at the end of the day, people that love you leave you. And that's the sad truth. Like, we're all gonna go one day, okay? So like, that's why you should love the skin that you're in. You should appreciate who you are as a person. You should know what you want and what you don't want. Your standards set high and everything. And the right people will automatically come to you as long as you are yourself. Because you are what you attract, okay? So, like, if you're the realest thing out there, you're going to attract real people to you. If you're the fakest thing out there and you're always, you know, trying to impress people and you're always, like, you know, doing this and like doing that and like putting your life out there and stuff, like, you're gonna attract certain people that don't want to see you succeed, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, like, we should be like good friends, or like, you know, whatever, da da da, like, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, don't ever change yourself for a person, for a relationship, for anything. As long as, if people can't accept you for who you are, don't even bother with them. Like, just be like, okay, move on, like, carry on, goodbye, you know, and then you're gonna find someone that's gonna accept you and take you and love you for the person that you truly are, like, scars and all, like, everything, okay? And if, you know, it's gonna take some time and it's gonna take a lot of patience, but trust me, it's gonna be worth it. Like, that's the thing, don't ever change yourself, don't ever change your mind on things, don't ever be like, well, if I do this, then he's gonna love me, and if I do this, listen, I was watching Tyra this one day in middle school, when I was in middle school, and there was on this episode, and she said this, and I swear it's stuck with me ever since. She said, and this kind of deals with this in a way, a little bit, but she said, sex won't make him love you, and a baby won't make him stay. And ever since then, I would always tell my girlfriends this, like, if they were, like, talking to a new guy, and they're like, well, maybe if I, you know, sleep with him, like, he's gonna love me, and we're gonna become attached, and literally, You guys, half the time, like most of the time, when guys want to mess around with you on that level, literally, they don't care. They just want a piece of meat. They just want something. They just want something to stick it in. Literally, that's all they're not thinking about like, oh, I'm trying to spend forever with this woman. Like, I'm trying to, nothing like that. And I feel like a lot of girls, like, you know, we get emotional and we're like, you know, we have that emotional aspect of things, you know, and that's the thing. And literally, I've had guys tell me every single thing you can think of, and I would still be like, nope, like, I'm not changing it, like, you're not that special, like, you know, like, you ain't worth it, okay? And that's the thing. And I'm proud, you know, hallelujah on that. But that's the thing though, so don't ever change yourself, your morals, your beliefs for anyone, because at the end of the day, they're gonna turn around and leave you anyways. So like, why do you need to change yourself for someone that's gonna leave you anyways? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. As long as you are yourself, as long as you are yourself, you are gonna attract the right people. So stop trying to be like other people. Stop trying to, you know, be this and change yourself for this person and do this. Be you. In a world that wants you to be everyone but yourself, be you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this inspires you guys to be yourself, and just ignore everything else and just be you, okay? I'll see you guys next time.